Hey there, this is Scott coming with you with another tip, and this one's actually how to quadruple the life of your braided rugs. Now, this is a braided rug. Let me just quickly go over the construction with you so you can kind of get a sense on what I'm talking about. These are braids. It's basically big ropes that are woven ahead of time, and then they're looped around like this in certain patterns, and then they're sewn together between the braids. So there's little strings that hold these braids together. Now, in the old days, they used to use a wax string, a string that had like a cotton or wool string that was very strong, and then they'd put wax on the outside so the weavers could easily weave these braids together. Believe it or not, these are kind of difficult to sew together. They're not real easy, so this wax thread helped that, and it also helped with the tensile strength. A while back, I don't know exactly when, 25 years ago, they switched over, for the most part, to monofilament string, and that's fishing line. And what will happen is you'll start to see the fishing line break because the tensile strength is not as strong as the old cotton wax dipped strings. So if you do have braided rugs that have the pops in there, we actually can fix that, and we do use the old-fashioned high-quality cotton that's dipped in wool strings for that. But that's a different video. Today we're going to talk about how to quadruple the life of this thing. Alright, so you've got two usable sides to almost every braided rug. One side, two side. And that's the first tip, is that if you vacuum both sides of your rug, the soil will have a less tendency to build up between these braids and the foundation. What we like to do is take it to a concrete pad, or if you don't have a concrete pad, don't put it on blacktop because that'll transfer the oils up into it. Perhaps a wood deck that doesn't, make sure that the stain doesn't get up into the, like a freshly stained deck, you wouldn't want to do that. But if it's an older one, it's weathered and the colors on the deck are fine, so you don't want to transfer it into the rug. So vacuum the top side and then flip it over and see what happens. I've only vacuumed this once on the top side so far, and you can see this pile of sand is falling out. So what I'm going to do now is flip this rug over and vacuum this side. I'm going to sweep that out of the way so I don't contaminate it and get it all back into the rug. And I'm just going to keep doing that, flipping it over, vacuuming it, flipping it over, vacuuming it until I don't see any more sand. So that's tip number one, vacuum until the sand is out of the foundation. You should do this quite often, as a matter of fact. If you're on a sandy area, a sandy lot, or perhaps near a beach, traffic areas that have sand near them, you're going to notice that there's going to be a lot more soil buildup. We'd recommend you vacuum at least every week. Flip it over, vacuum both sides once a week, and then pay attention to that soil level, see how it looks. If it's building up less so than once a week, then you could just do a top and backside vacuuming less often. But you want to keep these things vacuumed as much as you can. They're very simple to vacuum front and back. A small one like this is super simple. And so that's tip number one. Tip number two, make sure your vacuum setting's at the correct height. I've already checked this one out. I started high. Remember, I started the highest one or two, and then I work my way down until I hear and see that sweet spot on the rug. So that's tip number two. Now the final tip is to not only flip this over, remember we got two sides here, every so often you want to flip this thing over. So that's one flip right there. You also can rotate these rugs. So if I rotate it, that's the third side. Remember, I got the top side, flip it over, that's the second side. Now I rotate it, now I've got a third side, and if I flip it again, now I've got a fourth side. Now the reason I say it's going to quadruple the life is because normally you're going to have one area of the rug that has a traffic pattern. Let's say that the door is on this side. When you swing open the door, this is the area that you walk. So that's one side, you flip it over, that's the second side, you rotate it, that's the third side, and then finally the fourth side. So what you've done effectively is quadruple the life of the rug simply by flipping and rotating. Alright, so that's my quick tip of the day.